Welcome to Enforcers Week at the Hockey News and at the Tip of the Iceberg podcast. Of course, proud affiliate of the Hockey News. Horwat, Enforcers, they might be a thing of the past, but they're always something fun to discuss. The Penguins have shied away from fighting in recent years, as has most of the NHL.
Yeah.
But we're really looking at the Penguins as one of the first teams to lean that way back in the early 2010s. They really haven't had any fighters since those early Crosby years.
Yeah, it's been pretty barren. It's not the way Mike Sullivan likes to play. I mean, we saw Jim Rutherford try and hand him one of the best of all time in Ryan Reeves. Sure, maybe no one liked the deal that much, but Mike Sullivan really didn't like it. And despite playing him in a ton of games, Ryan Reeves played way more games than you think about with the Penguins.
Yeah.
It obviously just didn't work out. Wasn't part of Mike Sullivan's system. It's not the way he plays and wants his players to play. I mean, put it this way. The only player that fought more than one time last season was Marcus Pettersson, and we don't want him doing that.
Yeah, no.
We're a team that's more pest-like and just get under your skin than we are to actually drop the gloves. But that doesn't mean the history of this team is shied away from plenty of enforcers and plenty of big, tough guys before. And we've had the fair share, not guys you normally think of, but at the same time, Artie McSorley's floated onto this team before. There's a couple of big names over the years.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And you have a top 5 fighters in the history of the Pittsburgh Penguins article coming out on Inside the Penguins. So I suggest everybody go head over there and check that out. But one question I want to ask you, Horwood, is who's your favorite Penguins fighter of all time?
Coming down to it, I always fall on George Laraque. He was the guy that the Penguins had when we were children, and he was the brute force on those early Crosby teams, even the early Malkin teams. He wasn't here for super long. I mean, these enforcers don't stay on teams long too. That's kind of another part of it. But that's what he was here for, and he also gave 5 fights that he had in his career. He gave a little story of that to the Hockey News. One of them included a really interesting one that I totally forgot about. Whenever he was on the Penguins, where he picked up an assist and a fight on the same play, and it's an incredible video to watch too if you find the story. But beyond that, it's always good. I always fall on George Laraque. The older generations will say guys like Paul Baxter. Everyone always wants to mention Rick Tocchet, but Rick Tocchett's an easy one because he was also a goal scorer and was able to produce points. And that's why we love him for that. Also, fun fact, Troy Loney leads the franchise in Donnybrooks. Let that one in.
Yeah, not the name I would have expected to be the franchise leader there in fighting majors. But my first inclination is to go back to the 2012 line brawl between the Penguins and Flyers. And in that line brawl was one of my favorite all-time fighters for the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's Aaron Asham, man. The visual of him, a Flyer on each fist, just absolutely pummeling the opponent. I loved Aaron Asham. Not only that, but the celebration afterwards, the one-punch knockout that he had a little bit earlier in his career with the Penguins. Yeah, Aaron Asham was one of my favorites. I love Derek Englund as well. I mean, he didn't get into as many fights, but when he did, man, he was a tough guy. He was tough to take down, and he was great at brawling and dropping the mitts. But Horwat, when it comes to top 5, you got that covered over on Inside the Penguins for the Hockey News. Make sure you check out that article if you are on Inside the Penguins. Check it out. And also check out the Enforcers issue of the Hockey News magazine, because after all, it is Enforcers Week at Hockey News. That's all for this one. We'll see you guys next time.